Hi, I'm Sophia. This is Sophia Reviews. I review movies so you don't have to. Are you looking for a prequel you never asked for to one of the best films ever made? One of those musicals with the music numbers are inspired but only take up a tragically small portion of the runtime? Want to see a movie starring a middle-of-the-road young Hollywood talent trying to fill the enormous boots of a cinema titan? Then look no further than Wonka. The year is 2023 and Warner Brothers wants to distribute a prequel to Roald Dahl's Willy Wonka book. Timothy Charlemagne is hired to play a character that is somewhere between Nick Cage and Con Air and Bob Ross. One minute he's calm and sort of southern, and the next minute he's werewolfing into a cage rage and howling at the chocolate moon. Not the chocolate bees! Not the chocolate bees! Now, Timothy is absolutely not on the same level as Gene Wilder as an actor. Wilder is God tier and Timothy is B tier. He is handsome and kind of bland, and he has his moments of brilliance in Wonka, and the song and dance numbers are where he truly shines. These feel like they're right out of a classic musical. He could be singing in the rain or off to see the wizard with musical chops like these. Seriously, despite failing spectacularly at filling Gene's shoes, he is still one of the best parts of this film. If this movie was the first I ever saw out of the Wonka brand, I would think it was a safe corporate kids movie brand, but also a labor of love. And a love letter to the golden age of Hollywood musicals. The way the songs are written and performed inform the audience that this is a film that, for all its flaws, is still put together by a whole gaggle of geese who've gathered at many a musical, only to make music for the audience's ears to delight in, couched in fabulous dance routines and lavish set pieces. Willy Wonka stands atop a mast headed for port as he starts singing a jaunty sea shanty about how he spent 7 years of life upon the ocean, and how it's time to bid the seven seas farewell, and how the city he spent 7 years of hopes on lies just over the horizon. He can hear the harbor bell. "Land ahoy," he shouts as he slides down the ship's deck and then goes down to the quarterdeck. From the upper deck he puts on a tattered overcoat and grabs his battered suitcase. He walks on a pair of leaky boots upon his feet. He drags himself up by his one good bootlace and sings about his chocolate dreams and scarce supply of silver sovereigns. His eyes are the size of dinner plates as he raves about the restaurants in this city, which to him seem so full of opportunity. He is about to take the bull by the horns, but is that bull full of shit? Time will tell. He envisions an empty storefront becoming his new chocolate store, and just like every other little cute twink in town, he proclaims to have nothing to offer but his chocolate. He gets fined for daydreaming by a bastard. Walking down the steps, he laments his scarce silver sovereign supply rapidly dwindling. As his last silver sovereign goes bye-bye, he sits his buns down on a bench and pours himself some hot chocolate out of his magical hat. Then a large man with a thick British accent and an even thicker mustache talks him into following him to a laundromat/prison, where he is then duped into signing a contract that puts him into a lifetime of debt, forces him to work brutally long hours, scrubbing away. Willy Wonka tells a crowd of onlookers to quiet up, listen down, put their thing down, flip it, and reverse it, as he sings a song about a little hoverfly in a jungle in Mumbai, and how it was utilized in order to make little green chocolate eggs fly. He sings that you have never had chocolate like this. Then 3 men in suits approach him, Slugworth, Prodnose, and Fickelgruber. They eat the chocolate and they love it. Then a moment later they hate it. Seems they come from the Hershey School of mass-produced, mediocre capitalism-friendly, profit-margin-tastic chocolate. All of these mysterious ingredients with their delicious and mystical properties are a little too rich for their far too rich blood. These greedy one-dimensional tools of the capitalist hierarchy demand nothing less than pure dystopian conformity. This is exactly like 1984, except instead of smaller chocolate portions being sold as larger, it's blander chocolate being sold as more delicious. Wonka is pushed to the laundry chute and is introduced to the laundry crew, who are all debt prisoners. Abacus Crunch, a dapper old man. Piper Ben's a black woman who helps Abacus run the place. Lottie Bell, a mousy young woman who Piper says doesn't talk much. And Larry Chucklesworth, a washed-up stand-up comedian in a brown plaid suit. They start singing a song about scrubbing. The hook to the song is scrub. As they sing it, they scrub the clothes. It's fun to say scrub is fun to say. A young black woman everyone calls Noodles tells Wonka she warned him to read the fine print, and Wonka says he can't read. She shows him the disgusting details of the flophouse grade room they live in. Noodles says the greedy beat the needy every time, and it's just the way of the world, and Wonka says that's just your orphan syndrome. He asks if she's ever had chocolate, and Noodles says no, and Wonka flips his noodle and attempts a little Gene Wilder Wonka impression with some psychotic yelling. Instead of "you get nothing," this time it's "you've had nothing chocolatey, that is." Then he tells a story about his mother and how happy he was as her little riverboat mama's boy. He did magician stuff because he revealed the characters worked on a skill for a long time. Failed writers won't complain about plot holes and Mary Sue's and how hungry they are and they wish they could afford to turn on the space heater for 5 minutes a day. The world has passed them by and life is scary and it's defeated them and there's a ghost in the cellar, a cyclops in the attic, a kaiju in the shape of Swiss cheese keeps stomping around their mostly abandoned neighborhood. When they call the police says to take care of it themselves and they've tried. They couldn't afford a rocket launcher, only a pro bono exorcist. And that exorcist started quoting the New Testament in Latin and the Swiss cheese kaiju let out a Jurassic Park raptor noise, and after that the Swiss cheese kaiju stepped on the priest. They buried him in the backyard and there's a second ghost haunting them. The second ghost is the priest. The priest said it was unfinished business, and the unfinished business was strangling the failed writer to death for talking them into trying to exorcise a Swiss cheese kaiju. Keegan-Michael Key plays the chief of police, cleverly named chief of police. He goes to an underground meeting with the big three capitalist swines, the Consumerist Field Chocolate Game. They have a whole music number written and rehearsed and ready to go, seducing the chief into whatever they say without a question in exchange for a heaping helping of chocolate. Then Wonka talks to Bleacher, played by Tom Davis, and tells him to seduce his boss by showing some thigh. A big white guy showing his lady boss his thick thighs in an attempt to seduce her. What could go right? Well, this plan works, actually, but he also catfishes her by claiming to be rich and established, a Bavarian aristocrat. Bleacher stretches his hairy thighs as his leader hosing and his seduction game is strong. Wonka makes a dog-powered scrubbing machine, and he gets to play hooky, and Miss Scrubbit, played by Olivia Colman, is none the wiser. On the street with Noodle, Wonka tells her there's a little orange man with green hair who steals his chocolate. Noodle is having none of it. Is it because white people are crazy? No, but we are. Speaking of white people being crazy, Wonka starts milking a giraffe while coming up with fake words to rhyme with Noodle. Noodle tells Wonka about her mother, or at least a dream she had of her. Wonka promises to white savior her, to save her from a laundromat prison. Noodle sings a sad song and Wonka cuts her off with a super gay song and a super duper gay dance about noodle noodle doodle doodle or something to that effect. Then they do the musical thing where they harmonize these two different songs, but this is a musical with a budget. So as they do it, they fly around in a bunch of Hollywood magic helium balloons on top of a great big glass roof. The chief rolls up and bastards his cop around in a big way. This film is woke. Capitalist fat cats and police swine are the villains, and mentally ill gay-ass twinks and intelligent black women are the heroes. I love it. Abacus Crunch reveals that the big three, pig three of the chocolate cartel are functionally one company, a low-key monopoly. They water down their chocolate and store the excess in a vault beneath the cathedral guarded by chocoholic monks. They use this extra chocolate to bribe, blackmail, and bludgeon the competition, so Wonka won't sell chocolate without the capitalist hierarchy stamping his proletariat ass into the dust. Willy Wonka dresses like he works at a restaurant and feeds a customer his giraffe milk cookies and sings about how his chocolate is all that in a bag of chips. It's one of the better musical numbers in the film. I like how it shows people drinking the Kool-Aid, singing and dancing, and generally doing stuff that only a musical unashamed of being a musical does. Not just one character singing, a whole bunch of characters singing and dancing in a pre-written, pre-choreographed manner. I love this. The chief sniffs his truffle-sniffing nose and bastards himself an inkling as to how Wonka is getting away with all of this. Remember when Bob Dylan wrote and sang that things have changed, and it was like an older, more cynical response to his earlier song, The Times They Are A-Changin'? Well, this is a lot like that next musical number, A World of Our Own. It's the up-tempo C major reply to Pure Imagination from the original film. Instead of introducing a chocolate utopia with pure imagination, a melancholy ballad, Baby Wonka introduces his candy shop with a horn section and some British invasion-inspired melodies. Soon his shop is burnt to the ground and he is making a plea bargain with the Choco Mob. Wonka sings Sorry Noodle, and look, I am a big Cheer Up Charlie defender, but good God, is this a pale imitation of Cheer Up Charlie? Cheer Up Charlie served to tell a sad moment in the story. Musicals tell stories through songs. The Shreks of the world will never understand that fact, but it's true. A song in a musical is not merely a song on the radio. It doesn't have to be sexy. It doesn't have to be catchy. It doesn't have to be pop. It simply has to tell a piece of the tale. Cheer Up Charlie did just that. Thankfully, Sorry Noodle is like 20 seconds long, so it's not too big of a deal, but this film is a bit too much standing around and being depressed and not enough Wonka magic. This thing is like a 3.5, maybe 4 stars. Will I watch it a dozen times before I die? Maybe. But films I only want to see once are much better. Shit, I sound like a film critic. Eject! Eject! Miss Scrubbit reveals to the prisoners that she has been freed by Wonka, except Noodle, who Scrubbit says will be her prisoner forever. Wonka recruits the ragtag scrubbers for a chocolate heist. The chocolate heist of the year, no wait. The chocolate heist of the day, no wait. The finest chocolate heist of the hour. The giraffe is utilized once again, this time to run through the church, and as they do, the musical score sings the word giraffe over and over in a way not much unlike the Sephiroth, Sephiroth chants you hear in the final battle of Final Fantasy VII. Wonka and Noodle break in, and Noodle finds a ledger detailing all the three little capitalist piggies' shady dealings. Wonka tells Noodle that she is a Slugworth, and that Slugworth's brother is her father, and that Slugworth sent her down a laundry chute. The big three force Wonka and Noodle to face death by chocolate, and Adam West Batman villain trap. They don't have a chocolate repellent spray in their Wonka belts. Oompa Loompa, played by Hugh Grant, saves their asses from sweet, delicious, chocolatey death. There's a big sappy ending. The bad guys are punished. Noodle finds her mother. Wonka's chocolate factory is built. Will he become a capitalist pig like the swine he slaughtered on the way to the top? Tune in next week on AMC's Walter Wonka, played by Bryan Cranston. Joe Pesci as Oompa Loompa. Idris Elba as Chief of Police. Giancarlo Esposito as Slugworth. John Goodman as Prodnose. Glenn Close as Miss Scrubbit. He envisions an empty storefront becoming his new chocolate store, and just like every cute little twink in town, God damn it! He envisions an empty storefront becoming his new chocolate store, and just like every other cute little twink in town, he proclaims he has nothing to offer but his chocolate. These greedy, one-dimensional tools of the capitalist hierarchy demand nothing less than the pure dystopian conformity